join us shortly. Guys, I'm not there. So, nope, just got that question answered right there. It's David in the middle.
Yes.
I will say this. I said some nice things to Dave last week because I truly do love the man, and I've known him over a decade now. He's been nice enough to come on the show and be with us all these years to help with fantasy football and other things. This is the 1 week where I'm comfortable in saying I could do without Dave Richard. But I look, it's nothing to do with him. Well, no.
Sounds like it.
It actually is everything to do with him, because in about 24 hours, a little over that, let's call it, somewhere around 30 hours from now, his disgusting loser, terrible Miami Hurricanes are going to march into Doak Campbell Stadium and just put Chief Osceola and the entire fan base over their knee and spank them on national television. And I know Dave's going to enjoy every minute of it while I wallow in pain and sorrow. But you know what? We march on from CBS Sports, the guru of fantasy football, the lovely, the talented, the cold-hearted Dave Richard.
Wow, cold-hearted.
Jason, it's great to be here with you.
Good to talk to you, Dave.
It's good to talk to you. Hey, Dave sounds like he's got a lot of hate building up in his heart. He needs some love. Which state in our country is for lovers?
Is that Missouri, the show me state?
No, that's a different type of love. No, Virginia is for lovers. Virginia.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Wow.
No. I am simply suggesting that David maybe takes a trip to Virginia because that's where winners go.
Woo!
I told
right,
you.
Dave?
I told you last week. I told you we were going to lose. I told you we always lose in Virginia. I'm almost happier we lost in Virginia because had we won in Virginia and then Miami knocks us off undefeated, it's even worse. Now I know we're going to get our asses kicked. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm looking forward to it.
I know you are. Let's start with our San Francisco 49ers because we've been talking about them all day long. This is the most improbable, weirdest 4-1 team in recent memory with all the injuries. And I know a lot of people are, asking, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? Whether it's Tonjes, whether it's Kendrick Bourne, is there anybody in this, and I say this with love and respect, scrap heap of replacement players that you go, there might actually be some value there long term?
Long term, I don't see it other than, that McCaffrey guy.
Yeah, he's good.
But because eventually the receivers will get healthy, the quarterback will get healthy. Next week, George Kittle is eligible to come off of IR.
Yes.
And so when those guys come back, it's going to be Tongas into a reserve role. Bourne, maybe he's the number 3 receiver. Mac Jones is going to go back to the bench. I don't think there's going to be a quarterback controversy. But everything's going to be okay for the 49ers as long as Kyle Shanahan's there because, man, that dude can cook up some good stuff. The way that they played in the first half was outstanding. They just de-pantsed a good Rams defense in the first half, and they held on in the second half. I thought they deserved to win. Rams did their fair share of choking in the game, but, I mean, it was Alfred Collins that punched the ball out at the goal line.
Do you kick the field goal?
That. Kyron holds on to the ball
at the end of OT? Dave, I'm sorry. Do you kick the field goal if you're Sean McVay? Do you kick the field goal at the end of OT or do you go for it, unfortunately?
I sure as hell don't run halfback dive right into the teeth of the 49ers defense with your offensive linemen out of position like they were on the play. They got pushed around on that play.
Why are we?
Well, it was good being with you. Hey, I'm getting play it off.
Just, Dave, every once in a while during your segment, we feel like playing a legal ID. Do
you remember when I used to come on and I would hear like the news station
in
my ear?
That's right.
And you were like, "Oh yeah, just let me know if it happens. We'll fix it on the air." Only your show, Dave. Only yours.
You were finally just like, you know what? I'll deal with it. I'll just pull the receiver away.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like talking into my phone like this. I'm showing everybody on the live stream.
Would Pinheiro be one at all? Like, I know we're talking about a kicker here, but he's done a nice job.
Sure. No question. You could use him as your starting kicker in fantasy. How many leagues do you still use a kicker in, guys?
One
All
of two.
mine. Yeah. You playing more that don't have them?
Way more.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fantasy leagues have ditched the kicker.
Can I
Do you
ask
agree
why?
with
Taking the foot out of football
Why?
because it's too random and they'd rather use that spot on another flex position.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know what you're saying is correct. I'm not disagreeing with you, but there is a part of me that goes, dude, we use defense and we could use a kicker and have another flex position.
You could. Makes your
Just
draft
saying.
another round longer. Makes your roster management a little bit more, at least detailed. You got to pay attention to the kicker. I don't have a problem with it, especially since this year, and I think we talked about it last week, just so many games are being decided in fantasy by single digits. Starting the right kicker could make a difference. The one problem is that it's hard to really get a beat on which kicker is going to get 4 or 5 field goal attempts versus which kicker is going to miss a field goal, miss an extra point, and then not get called upon to tie the game in overtime, like Josh Carty did. I might have started Carty in one of my 2 leagues that use kickers. Could you tell?
We
That's
have
one
a
answer.
we have a proposal in one of my legacy leagues. I wanted to run by you this week. Speaking of, it's a perfect place to put it. I was going to ask you at the end.
Okay.
The idea, Dave, is so you go waiver wire every Tuesday, always in reverse order of total points. Okay. In other words, last in total points gets the number 1 pick on the waiver wire, on and on and on. You're drafting a standard team, kicker, defense, a couple of flex, maybe 3. I'm not sure, but here's the kicker. No pun intended. 0 reserves. 0 reserves.
Mhm.
So you want to drop, you want to make a change, you got an injury, you have a decision to make. So for example, and to be fair, the sub argument is we might have 1 IR slot to avoid a situation where Christian McCaffrey, let's say, is going to miss 2 games and you're not just playing a blank slot there, but you get one of those max. And I think that's going to pass it. But how would you feel about being in a league with 1 IR spot and 0 reserves?
It changes so much for fantasy not having that bench. It really makes it, my goodness, like I don't know how many roster spots you'd actually dedicate to, like Mike Evans. Like, what do you do if you've got Mike Evans and he's going to be out? You know he's coming back. You know that he's capable of being good. Do you cut him? Do you take the 0 each week? How many weeks are your opponents going to have an advantage over you by doing that? That I think that makes the fantasy league unnecessarily tougher.
Yeah.
And if you're just looking for that, that's the thing that you're looking for from your fantasy league. You want to make it, painful to play fantasy football, then go ahead and do that. But that's tough. What if your IR was expanded, let's say 3 spots, and it had to be for players that were out or on IR? You can't put questionable guys there.
Sure.
Maybe it would be a lot more easier to manage.
Okay. No, I don't hate that idea, Jason. But I do love, because I am a psycho. I do love the idea of, I got 4 guys out. Let's say if it's a three-man IR, I have to make the decision. Am I taking a 0 this week? Because Mike Evans, let's say, is out 1 week. Am I taking, or on the other hand, if you're the last place team and you're first on that waiver wire, every week, odds are you're going to have somebody you can pick up that's badass.
And get you back in the league, right? Catch you back up.
The other thought I had is, if you've got a couple of starters that are like at the top of their position, you've got Nakua, you've got Gibbs, you know the names.
Yeah.
You could then theoretically be more willing to take a 0 on one of your other spots because you've got those superstars.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love
big
this.
guns.
I love it.
Dave, this is the first week of many that we'll have bye weeks. So how does that impact your rankings this week, having those 4 teams that have the week off? Is it look like a big shift in your top of your quarterback, running back, receiver list at all?
We have a running back who was on the practice squad last week in the top 24.
Wow.
This week. We've got wide receivers that I'm hesitant to start confidently that are in the top 24. My number 12 tight end is Darren Waller, who 2 weeks ago, we didn't even know if he was even going to play in a game this year. So it pushes up players at every position, and it definitely thins out what your options are at flex. And speaking of like roster management and roster decisions, there are players on the Falcons, the Bears, the Steelers, the Packers. You know you don't have them this week. Do you even need them moving forward? Do you cut the Matthew Goldens and Darnell Moonies of the world to go and find somebody to stash this week? Especially, we have taken on 3 significant running back injuries in the span of 48 hours. And so everybody's now racing to the waiver wire to get Rico Dowdle, who's replacing Chuba Hubbard, to get Michael Carter or Amari DiMercato. Those guys figure to replace Trey Benson in Arizona for the next 4 weeks. We have no idea when Bucky Irving, who's got a foot injury, is going to be back for the Bucks. Is Sean Tucker? Rashad White's already rostered in too many leagues. Don't even bother looking for him off the waiver wire. But is Sean Tucker somebody who could evolve into a decent running back in Tampa? And because of those players on bye, the thought is, all right, well, I know these guys aren't going to play this week. Maybe I can get them back next week. I can go ahead and just make the move for a running back or even a receiver like Darius Slayton to help me now, help me win now. And if it works out, great. If not, I can try and at least get my player on bye back on my roster after this week.
Chuba Hubbard's out, like officially?
Chuba Hubbard's out.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. This is questionable.
That is incorrect, sir.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Well,
Not expected to play. He is not expected to play.
Okay, that's great. So
Miraculous recovery, like the Seminoles and the AP rankings.
pardon me while I replace Chuba Hubbard with David Montgomery, which is just going to be amazing.
That's going to be great this week.
Do you think so?
Montgomery's taking on Cincinnati.
Oh, well, that's true.
Kind of on that line, just really fast, Dave. We do have a text that asked about that. They're already starting Gibbs in their lineup, Dave, but they also want to know should they do David Montgomery or DiMercato?
I would rather do Montgomery. I think he's got a better chance to score. I think he's got a better chance to get more touches than DiMercato can in Arizona.
Okay. You threw me with the Chuba Hubbard thing. I was gonna ask you about. Now I'm completely blanking. We were talking about it wasn't a specific player question. It was more along the lines of what we were talking about with the no roster stuff. And now I'm completely. I have no questions for you, Dave. I completely am blanking because I really want to ask you that because I'm thrown about Chuba Hubbard, and now I have to decide if I'm going to put Jeremy McNichol or Evan Ingram in my flex spot.
You've got to go to your waiver wire and find somebody else.
Yeah. The problem is this is in my old man league where everybody in there is 70 or older and retired, and all they do, and they refuse to do the thing where we actually have a waiver wire. It's first come, first serve. So I go for like the 5th backup on the Commanders, and oh no, he's already on that other dude's team. So I hate fantasy football. I mean, I love fantasy football, but I hate fantasy football. You
sound like 50% of the people who are playing fantasy football this year.
Is Miami a decent start on defense this weekend? I ask as they take on Carolina without Chuba Hubbard. We talked about defense hopping last week.
I never like to trust a bad DST.
Okay.
So unless you're desperate, that would be a DST that I would try to avoid. See if you can get your hands on the Cardinals DST, the Browns DST against Carson Wentz playing behind a depleted offensive line. That looks good to me. The Colts DST against Geno Smith and the Raiders, even the Giants DST against the Saints. Saints have allowed a lot of numbers to opposing DSTs. I would rather go with them.
We have another one from our listeners. It's open-ended, it's not completely targeted, but it's asking, will you ask Dave about McConkey? That's how it's listed.
Sure. So McConkey had a terrible game last week. He looks the same as he did last year. He's very shifty, but he's running a lot of short and intermediate routes. So we're talking about inside of 15 yards down the field. He is getting away from coverage with his quickness, and he's sneaky strong, but I don't think anybody looks at him and says, "Oh yeah, that's a physical wide receiver." The biggest problem is Keenan Allen is running routes in the exact same space. So is Quentin Johnston to a lesser degree. But when the pressure has been on Justin Herbert, he's looked Keenan Allen's way far more than Ladd McConkey's. So that makes me nervous to be all in on a huge week for Ladd McConkey against the Commanders, especially since the Commanders should be able to get a good amount of pressure on Justin Herbert because that offensive line for LA, which a week ago, I knew even when Joe Alt was healthy, the other side of that line was problematic for them. Now both those starting tackles are out for the year. This could be a game where Justin Herbert has to get the ball out quick. You would think that would be wonderful for Ladd McConkey, but it's going to be just as wonderful for Keenan Allen. It'll be less wonderful for or Gadsden, their rookie tight end. And Quentin Johnson's going to be involved as well.
Well, we'll make this the last question so we can do it live. I'll put the pressure on you, Bill O'Reilly style. We'll do it live. You said go to my waiver wire. Here you go. Here's my running back choices, David.
Hit it.
Isaiah Davis, Trevor Etienne, Kendre Miller.
Not bad.
Sean Tucker, Kareem Hunt, and Blake Corum.
Well, you can't get Corum now, nor would you want to.
Yes.
I think I would lean toward Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Devin
he's going to end up getting a decent role in Tampa's offense. It's not the easiest matchup. Either him or Kendre Miller. Does it have to be a running back, Dave?
No, it could be
could be a receiver, could be a tight end.
All right. So Christian Kirk. Hey, look, Kendrick Bourne was out there.
Good. Your old men weren't on top of that one, were they?
Jalen Tolbert and Brenton Strange.
Strange ain't bad.
Look at this. Carmichael Dave Richard is trying to help you on Miami, Florida State week.
Is he trying to help me, or are we really getting good advice from him, or is he dropping a hamster in the pinwheel? That's not even a saying, but you know what I meant by that.
A hamster in the pinwheel?
I don't know.
You're gonna break your pinwheel. Those things are flimsy, man.
Where can people, despite your cold, dark heart, where can people listen to you and glean all of your fantasy knowledge today?
If you want to win your fantasy league, like the Miami Hurricanes are going to win their game on Saturday against lowly Florida State, you go to youtube.com, you search for fantasy football today. That's 3 words. Sorry, you're going to have to type them all, but you're going to come across all of the video content that we do, including not 1, but 2 episodes to help you sit your lineup. We talk about every single player that matters in the National Football League, including deep dives this week on our show that we just recorded this morning on all the running backs, Rico Dowdle, Cardinals running backs, Bucks running backs, the guys that you're picking up and juggling to put into lineups. We help you make decisions on all of these guys. YouTube.com, search for fantasy football today. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much.
Number 3, Miami, a 4.5-point favorite over 3-1 Florida State in Tallahassee, and that 4.5 seems rather low. I'd say good luck. You won't need
nervous more than anything else. And by the way, I am certain that if your team somehow, some way manages to win, that I'll come back and I'll hear the Florida State fight song when we come on the air next Friday. Would we not?
No, you won't.
If I have anything to say about it, yes, but I have nothing to say about anything on this show.
All right, I was going to suggest a bet where winning team gets their fight song played next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern,
yeah, but no, that's not fair because you're favored. What you know what I'm saying?
What kind of a fan are you, Dave?
Fine.
Oh, we're not favored. I can't make a bet on a song.
Fine. I'm in. All right, the bet is on. The bet is on.
Badgered him into it. Good luck on Saturday, I'm sure.
Yeah, you too. Fine. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Later, Jason.
Thanks.
Dave Richard, everybody joining us as he does each and every week. 3 for Madness right now, please.
3 questions, 3 answers.